Hello to everyone. I am Ömer Durmuş. I work as a research assistant at Samsung University. This video was made for the presentation of paper 17. The name of our study is titled as Analysis and Modeling of Cybersecurity Precautions. In general, we will mention the purpose of the study, the methods and the results. As it can be seen, we will conclude the presentation after we have mentioned first the introduction part, then the materials and methods, then the finding and discussion, and finally the results. First, let's talk about the place and importance of cybersecurity precautions and attacks. Inferences learned from different studies can be described as cyber attacks continue to be a growing problem for both individuals and commercial or government institutions around the world. Although the precautions taken against attacks are increased every year, it is observed that the attacks also develop over time and continue to cause damage. Many studies show that it is not possible to provide full protection because extensive prevention mechanism is not common. This study was carried out to interpret the frequency and increase amounts of attacks and make numerical inferences as a result of observing the data of some attacks. For the introduction part, let's talk about the purpose of the study first. Thus, the study was carried out in line with these aims. In this study, it is aimed to create a meaningful integrity by interpreting the data obtained as a result of the precautions taken against cyber attacks with different methods. Both data mining and statistical calculation methods help to make inferences about these models or assumptions. The correct interpretation of the obtained data and the use of appropriate methods will increase the consistency of the results to be obtained. Then, if we talk about the importance of the work, we can describe it as many organizations around the world receive serious, if not full-scale, cybersecurity services. However, if the methods applied and the data received for these security precautions cannot be read and interpreted in a meaningful way, it is understood that they will be insufficient for uh, both instant defense and future developmental defense, and these precautions will lose their effectiveness. It will be important for the permanence of the protection to filter the received data in the pre-processing step, to make appropriate inferences and to select the appropriate data types, as well as to make effective numerical calculation of them, means, frequencies, variance, etc. In this section, we will address both the materials used, such as the dataset and the methods. Three datasets were used in this study. In addition to three datasets, support was received from different datasets in order to contribute. The first of the datasets consists of data based on the phishing technique. This set is the website phishing dataset of the Auckland Institute of Studies. Another dataset is the dataset of the Lancaster University Institute of Studies, the records of daily network attacks in the second half of 2020. Apart from the two specific datasets, the analysis created by combining the numerical expressions taken from the multiple datasets of the Canadian Cybersecurity Institute belonging to the general attack types carried out in 2020 was carried out. During the study, the analyses were concluded by firstly processing the data that can create a meaningful order with the Weka program, then determining the statistical inferences and determining the assumptions by means of SPSS. This section contains general information for both Weka and SPSS. It is possible to see theoretical information about how it works, with which file type it is processed and it is processed, and the methods it provides. Next, yes, SPSS. The total data of the individual attacks taken from Weka was arranged in SPSS, and the scar plot was obtained. These attack numbers were created by collecting the total numbers separately from where the dataset belongs. After the graph was obtained, the comparative mean calculation was applied to the attack group. The graph that appears here shows the distribution of each attack. In the independent sample, the expected independent sample t-test value and degrees of freedom were obtained for each 100 attacks. The number of precautions taken against attacks with the phishing technique and the data of 3 years in line with the data obtained here were examined. Here, firstly, it was tried to make sense of data obtained from the result attribute values of 2018, which couldn't be determined whether it was good or bad. Here, the distribution and clustering of our data, which is divided into two clusters with the Cummins algorithm, is obtained. According to this result, 63% of the data were clustered in one cluster, and 37% in the other group. Yes. The same methods were applied for 2019 as well. To give an example here, let's take a look at the earnings and interpretation of confusion metrics related data for clustering. Yes, here we decide whether the data obtained in 2019 is consistent with the accuracy, error rate, and sensitivity of the data obtained in 2019 according to the confusion matrix results, and thus whether it is suitable for making statistical inferences. The phishing analysis for 2020 has been examined in the light of the same methods. Yes, the graph that appears shows the distribution of total illegal, legal, and undecidable data for these 3 years. Yes, network attacks. Let's give an example about bytes out, which is one of the 5 different qualities of the data received against network attacks. Shown here, shown here are the results of the data of July 2020. Throughout this study, data from June 2020 to the end of December 2020 were examined with the same methods and techniques. Feature extraction was performed on Weka, and then statistical inferences was obtained. Yes, For the month of December 2020, the same steps were implemented. This chart shows the distribution of total benign, malicious, and against attacks. Yes, coming to our brief results, respectively, meaningful findings have been found about how large a sample can be when the daily data of many units are brought together. In terms of network listening and monitoring, attack detection performed in active listening is less than in passive listening. Based on this, it is understood that there are difficulties in using fully secure systems on still active network servers. It has been observed that attacks and penetration attempts against information networks are increasing exponentially with each passing day. It has been hypothesized that phishing theft has lost its distinctiveness today, and that the attackers who have developed methods in which the targeted illegal theft can be assumed to be legal by applying many methods damage the trust in legal cities. We continue again. While making statistical calculations, making inferences with dynamic programs both prevented from being exposed to errors and provided speed to understand the scenario with more specific images. Differences in result were observed between incorrectly analyzed data and correctly analyzed data across sample space, while precise and understandable results were obtained in the correctly analyzed sample, complex and meaningless findings were encountered in the samples with deficiencies. It has been observed data descriptive statistics, calculations of attack type or method data offer approaches from many different perspectives. According to the average, it was concluded whether there was a significant association in the analysis result. Thus, we tried to explain the short and general outlines of our study. You can reach me with the contact information shared this presentation piece. Thank you for listening to me. Best regards.